Sony, what is this? What am I looking at here? Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered has officially been rated on the PS5 and the PC. A remastered version of one of the best-looking Sony games has been rated for the platform that already has a nearly lifelike version of the game. I really need to hammer home how stupid this is. Zero Dawn launched on PC in, 2020 is when the port came out? And this game looks phenomenal on PC. It looks great on the PS4 and PS5, and it gets an even beefier bump from being run on a competent PC. And on top of that, there's a laundry list of mods available for Zero Dawn on PC that make it look and play even better than what the vanilla version is capable of. So I ask you, Sony, literally what purpose does a remaster on PC serve? Who is this for? And before you say something like, oh, it's for gameplay adjustments. Oh, it's for new cosmetic content and gameplay tweaks. I once again point you to the modding community for the game that already exists on this platform. Like, let's just go to Nexus Mods and look at the most popular mods for Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm just gonna sort by most popular all time. We've got new hair colors, we have inventory and loot reworks, we have coil reworks, we've got reshading, we've got cheat tables, we've got more inventory reworks, we've got more cosmetic additions, we've got more gameplay tweaks, we've got more graphical tweaks, we've got more immersive weather adjustments, we've got more cosmetic additions. You get the flippin' point. And those are just the first handful of columns on Nexus Mods. There's a ridiculous amount of mods available for this game in literally every category that you could ever ask for, and the base game on PC without any mods already looks phenomenal and plays great. So again, Sony, what is the point of remastering this game on PC of all platforms? Who is this for? What could possibly be gained by releasing a new version of this game? And see, I can kind of see the point of a remaster on the PS5. I don't agree with it. I don't think it should exist, but I can at least see why they're doing it. Console players are generally more open to remasters of games than PC players are. I mean, just look at Last of Us 2 Remastered. That was completely pointless and contributed nothing of value to the version of the game that was already on the PS5, and yet it still sold relatively well less than 4 years after the base game came out. Horizon Zero Dawn already looks and plays pretty solid on the existing PlayStation consoles, but they could probably dupe a few people into buying a pointless remaster by just, throwing in a handful of new cosmetics and collectibles, or throwing in some graphical enhancements, the kinds of graphical enhancements that are already in the PC version. Do you understand why this is stupid? But the reason I'm harping on this is because the PC version specifically of Horizon Forbidden West Remastered is quite literally pointless. That's not the name of the game. It's Zero Dawn Remastered. It's not Forbidden West Remastered. It's Zero Dawn Remastered. These games are the same to me. Sue me. And what really kills me is that this news comes just weeks after Bloodborne's PC project has made phenomenal progress. Like, you can play as CJ in Bloodborne on PC now. Sony, you're not getting anything out of this. You could be getting a lot out of this, but you're actively electing not to for some reason. Like, Sony refuses to update Bloodborne or port Bloodborne, and From Software have confirmed that the lack of Bloodborne updates are 100% Sony's fault and not theirs. And yet here we are with Sony not only remastering yet another game from the PS4 era instead of coming up with new ideas or announcing new first-party projects that people actually give a shit about, but we're apparently also remastering it on PC. A platform where it is quite literally pointless, because there is literally no way to make a remastered version of Zero Dawn a worthwhile product on this platform. There's two ways that this can play out. Scenario one is that Zero Dawn Remastered on PC is a separate product, meaning you have to buy the game again and all of the mods are gone, and the game is certainly going to be running worse than the version that's already there, because there's no way to enhance the visuals of the game to any substantial degree without increasing the demand on the hardware, obviously. But in this case, that's actually a problem, because the existing version of the game already looks excellent. So you're going to be sacrificing the game's performance for the sake of visual improvements that are going to be completely inconsequential, and also all your mods don't work anymore. That's scenario 1. Scenario 2 is that Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is actually going to be a patch for the existing version of the game. Maybe like a $10 to $20 patch for the existing version of the game. Meaning Sony is going to be asking you to give them $10 to $20 for the privilege of degrading your experience because of the reasons listed in scenario 1. Do either of these scenarios sound like a good idea to you, dear viewer? Do either of these scenarios sound like a good use of Sony's resources? And I suppose there's also a third scenario, which would be that Sony is fully aware of the fact that no PC player is actually going to pay for a remaster of a game that already looks like Zero Dawn, so they just pull a Bandai Namco and replace the existing version of Zero Dawn with the remastered version, which would not go over well, because then you would have all the consequences of scenario 1 forced upon you, regardless of whether or not you paid full price or half price or any price for the existing game. And I mean, Sony has proven multiple times over the last 12 months that they really aren't interested in naturally building a community on the PC and are much more interested in just trying to strong-arm people into their PC ecosystem, so yeah, I wouldn't put this scenario past them at all. Look, there's no way around this. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered quite literally has no purpose on the PC. In fact, it would be detrimental to release it on the PC because it would either completely flop because it has no market, or it would have to be forced upon the people who already bought the existing version of the game, which would be an objectively bad thing because it would screw with the performance and the mods, but Sony doesn't actually understand that because Sony doesn't understand the PC market in the slightest, which is why we're almost at the end of 2024 and we still don't know where the PC versions of Bloodborne or Demon's Souls are, despite those being literal bread and butter type games for the PC buying base. Like, I'm just saying, if the goal is to make as much money as possible off of PC gamers, Sony should be speedrunning the ports of Bloodborne and Demon's Souls, but instead, they are actively ignoring the market for Souls-like games on PC, which is baffling because Souls-like games on PC consistently do incredibly well. I'm writing this video on a Wednesday morning, and there are over 50,000 people playing Elden Ring on Steam. It's a fucking Wednesday morning. But please tell me more about how a remastered version of a game that already exists and already looks amazing and already has a thriving modding community should take priority over the FromSoft games that you are just sitting on and farting on and refusing to do anything with for literally no reason. I can't hammer this home enough. A remastered version of Horizon Zero Dawn on the PC is literally the most pointless thing imaginable because it quite literally cannot exist without somehow negatively affecting the version that's already there. You cannot release a version of the game that looks substantially better than the version that's already there without sacrificing the performance of the version that's already there, nor can you release a new version of the game without asking people to walk away from the version that has all the mods they've already gotten invested in, nor can you release a new version of the game that has features built into it that people can't just get from modding the original one. The fact that this remaster was even considered for the PC just shows once again that Sony has no idea how the PC market actually works, despite insisting on participating in it. And look, I want Sony to participate in the PC market. I think Sony participating in the PC market is a good thing because it means more people get access to first-party games. It means those first-party games aren't held hostage on an overpriced plastic box with pointless yearly multiplayer paywalls and completely outdated performance caps. When Sony can't hold first-party games hostage, it means they have to make their platform enticing in ways other than those first-party games being held hostage, which is an objectively good thing for the consumer and for the market as a whole. But Sony's complete incompetence as a PC publisher continues to be absolutely baffling to me because the slightest bit of market research would have prevented this from ever happening and would also have pointed out to them that there is a giant pile of money to be made off the other games in their library that they are actively choosing to ignore. Do you have any idea how much fucking money Bloodborne and Demon's Souls would make on Steam? Again, I'm writing this video and taking these screenshots on a fucking Wednesday morning, and there's close to 10,000 people playing Dark Souls right now. 10,000 people playing Dark Souls on a random fucking Wednesday morning, and you are not porting your FromSoft games to PC? And it's not just the FromSoft games, it's the Infamous games. It's the shooters like Killzone and SOCOM and Resistance. Dude, those would sell gangbusters on PC. You don't even have to remaster them. Just make native PC versions and let the modders do the rest. I cannot wrap my head around the fact that Sony is rushing out a remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn on PC before any of those other confirmations. I'm not even asking you to release those other ports right now. I'm just asking you to acknowledge the fact that people want them. And you can't even do that. I'm just asking you to confirm that you understand something, anything about the PC market that you insist on being a part of. The PC gamers are literally holding megaphones and blaring into your ears what they want from you and what they are willing to pay for. And you're just not doing it. And instead, you're funding things that not a single person asked for. I just don't get it. And I don't understand what there is to be gained from this. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is going to flop hysterically on PC, and it deserves to. Toodles.